testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio testing. All right. Back out here again for the third time on the highways and hedges, the chief plus concourse through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahawah, Yahawashi. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahawah, and his begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahawashi. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. The lost of the Holy Tongue, and I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles who are Aki and Ma'akwaf, and I say Shalom. So back out here again for the third time on the highways and hedges of the Chief Blessed Concourse on this June the 7th, 2026, on this Sunday night. And Wadi Yahawashi, as always, forgive us the opportunity chance to come out here to do so, lifting up the names of the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, and his unbegotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, and Wadi Yahawashi Mashafka. And the Wadi Yahawashi as always for a campus spot with the holy angels, where we out here teaching on the highways and hedges, the chief blessed concourse now, so more than ever, right along with the elders and apostles who are Aki, and the Wadi Yahawashi. And once again, Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles who are Aki and Ma'akwaf, and I say Shalom. So I'm going to get into that Psalms, the 18th chapter, because we start to see the Heavenly Father visit this earth. This is, especially with these earthquakes. Yeah, this is the book of Psalms 18, verse 7. Yeah, this is the book of Psalms 18 and verse 7. It says, then the earth shook and trembled, and the foundations also the hills is moved, we shake it because it's wrath. Right, because the Heavenly Fathers are angry with the wicked every day. What's that? Isaiah 48, verse 22. There's no peace the wicked, thus saith Yahawah Shemashah. And that's why the Heavenly Father visited the earth with the shaking with these earthquakes. And you had you had like an 8.2 earthquake over there in the Philippines. That kind of shocked me for a second. I had to check my phone. I was like, man, that's a large 8.2 earthquake. And that been the largest earthquake ever since last year of July. It was like an 8.8 earthquake over there in Russia. So within a year later, this is like the second largest earthquake so far within the year, just like a 8.8 earthquake over there in Russia. Now you had an 8.2 earthquake over there in the Philippines. That lets you know we started to see the Heavenly Father visit this earth with the great shakers with these earthquakes. And this is the book of Isaiah chapter 29. Yeah, this book of Isaiah chapter 29 verse 6. It says, thou shalt be visited by our hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise and storms and tempests and the flame by fire. Right, so the prophet Isaiah was mentioned that Yahawah Shemashah, Yahawah hosts, is going to visit this earth with these storms and tempests and the flame by fire and with these increasing earthquakes. And this is Isaiah chapter 28, verse 2. It says, behold, Yahawah Shemashah has a mighty and a strong one, which is a tempest of destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters, shall cast the earth with the hand. Right, so you cast the earth with the hand. The Heavenly Father is going to visit this earth with the cast down with the hand of him visiting the earth with these tornadoes, earthquakes, landslides, floodings, famines, pests and plagues, etc. And definitely with these uptick of our earthquakes. So that's something that will continue to increase. And I'm going to get to Matthew 24 chapter. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which goes into ethnos. It says, there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, just like you had a tsunami alert, you had an 8.2 earthquake, and then I believe you had like about three aftershocks of that earthquake over there in Mandaluyong. I think it's called Mandaluyong of the Philippines, and then it had a tsunami alert over there in that area, over there between the neighboring countries like Indonesia and all those other places, Thailand and all that. They had had a warning of a tsunami alert, and that lets you know. I believe the aftershocks was it was a 6.3, and then it was a 6.1, and then it was like a 6.0. So you had like three aftershocks of that major 8.2 earthquake over there in the Philippines. And then I think earlier today you had a 6.1 earthquake over there in Russia, and then you had like a 5.8 earthquake over there in Chile. And then yesterday you had like a 5.8 earthquake over there in New Zealand. So that lets you know we start to see the Heavenly Father visit this earth with these uptick of earthquakes. This is the signs that Yahawashi spoke about 2,000 years ago, because he spoke to the disciples of the amount of hours. He spoke about these increasing signs of earthquakes in diverse places. So we start to see that increase more and more and more. as the days progresses on. This is the book of Matthew 24, verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. It says there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so we're going to see the famines and pestilence, plagues, earthquakes in various places in the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. So that's something that will continue to increase. So I'm going to bring out a precept to that. This is the book of Luke 21. Yeah, this is the book of Luke 21 and verse 11. It says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. Right, so more uptick of great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. And famines and pestilence and fearful sights of great signs shall be from heaven. Right, we're seeing these type of, which is kind of bugged out. You had some of these type of different parts around of the United States. You've been having these great shakings, these great sounds. You've been having these supposedly meteorites and stuff like that. These flash meteorites crashed through different over there in Massachusetts. I believe like a couple weeks ago. So that shows that what's that, Luke 21 verse 25. There shall be signs in the sun and the moon and stars, and upon the earth the rest of nations with plagues, sea rage, running right along with that. So we're gonna be seeing these fearful sights of great signs shall be from heaven. And just like the Heavenly Father mentioned, what's the second edge of the 9th chapter? He's gonna show us these plain beginning and powerful works and the effects of signs, and that's what he's showing us on a day-to-day basis. So I'm gonna bring out that second edge of the 9th chapter. This is the book of second edge, chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure out the time diligently in itself, without says the parts of the signs past, which I had told you before. Right, so we're going to continue to measure the time diligently in itself, Second edge, chapter 9 and verse 2. It says, then thou shalt understand it is a very same time where in the highest was the Heavenly Father, or begins to visit the world which he made. So we're going to continue to see the Heavenly Father continue to visit the world which he made. Second edge, chapter 9 and verse 3. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of people world. Right, so more uptick of the uproars of people world and more increase in earthquakes that Yahawashi is going to show forth. And that's what we're seeing. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39 and verse 1. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus. Matter of fact, get back to that second edge. So it's the book of second edge, which I quoted. Second edge, chapter 9 and verse 6. It says, even so the times also the highest, which the Heavenly Father Yahawah had plain beginning and powerful works and any effects and signs. Right, so the Heavenly Father is going to show us more and more of these plain beginning and powerful works and any effects and signs, which is going to go continue to increase, and that's what we're seeing. So I'm going to leave it at that. Bring out that Ecclesiasticus as we're occupying prophecies that measuring the time, diligently itself. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39, verse 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High Yahawah, and is occupied in meditation of her, and will seek out the wisdom of all ancient and be occupying prophecies. So we're going to continue to seek out the wisdom of all ancient occupying prophecies, and that's what we're doing. And this is second edge, chapter 9 and verse 1. Second edge, chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, it says, measured out the time diligently in itself, without says the parts of the signs past, which I had told you before. Right, so we're going to continue to measure the time diligently itself, without says the parts of the signs past, which I had told you before, that Yahawashi spoke about. The prophet Ezra was mentioned. And this is the book of second edges. Second edges, chapter 15, verse 1. It says, behold, speak thou of the ears of my people, the words of prophecies, which I put in thy mouth, said the Heavenly Father Yahawah. Right, so we're occupying prophecies, and we're speaking the words of our prophecies unto the house of Israel, the hopeful elect, the remnant. So I'm going to leave it at that. It's the book of Isaiah, Salakia. Yep, Isaiah 62, verse 6 to verse 7, as us being watching. This is Isaiah chapter 62. Yeah, this book of Isaiah chapter 62, verse 6. It says, I have set watch upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace either day or night. It said, ye that make mention of the Heavenly Father, Yahawashi, keep not thy silence. So we're going to continue to make mention of the Heavenly Father, keep not thy silence, just like the prophet Isaiah did. This is Isaiah chapter 62, verse 7. It says, and give him no rest until he establishes and make Jerusalem praise the earth. Right, so we're going to continue to make mention of the Heavenly Father until he establishes and make Jerusalem praise the earth. Because we know Jerusalem was a people before its place. And this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, and I will stand upon my watch and set upon the tower, and I will watch the sea. When I answer unto me, when I shall answer, and I will prove. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2, and it reads, It says, in the power of Yahawashi shall answer me and say, write the vision, make it plain upon the table, that he may run and read of it. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, for the vision shall appoint a time, but the end shall speak, not lie, tarry, wait for it, because of the surely come not tarry. Right, so these prophecies, they are not tarry. They surely going to come, it's not going to tarry. And that's why we're seeing these biblical signs, the signs of time. And that's why all these signs that Yahawashi is showing us. And he's showing us these earthquakes in diverse places. He's showing us these famines and pestilent plagues, and wars and rumors of wars. We seeing the mark of the beast. We seeing more and more of the famine word. That lets you know that we're living in the signs of times, you know. That's why we're occupying the prophecies and measuring the time, vision itself, you know. And this is the book of, get to that Revelation, the 13th chapter. Before I get to that Revelation 1 verse 1. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 verse 1, the revelation of Yahawashi Hamashiach. It says, what Yahawah gave unto him to shew him unto the service, which the things must surely come to pass, and it's identified unto his angel, unto his servant John. Revelation chapter 1 verse 2, it says, who bear the worker of the word of Yahawah and of the testimony of Yahawashi Hamashiach, and all the things that he saw. This is Revelation 1 verse 3. It says, blessed he that readeth, and they that hear his words, his prophecies, and to keep those things are written therein for the times at hand, right? So keep the things while written therein for the times at hand. So that's why we're occupying the prophecies. As Yahawashi, he's all about prophecies. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Bring out that Revelation 13th chapter. As we enter more and more of this cashless society, you know, we're seeing this Bitcoin, stablecoin, cryptocurrency, you know, the pushing of this market beast that they want to implant it around the world among all the nations for you to buy and sell, because this is going to be the new norm. The book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 16, it says, and it calls of all, both small and great, rich or poor, free or bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? To receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. The pushing of this mark of the beast that they want to implant in your right hand and your foreheads. This digital RFID chip that they want to implant in your right hand and your foreheads, even if you're upper class or lower class of the economic spectrum in modern day times. So this is what they're pushing for, especially under this current beast system, which is ruled by man, you know. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 17. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, say that he had the charagma, which is that mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right, so for you to buy or sell, in order to buy or sell, you're going to have that mark that they want to imprint in your right hand and your foreheads. Yahweh says that no man might buy or sell, but this is going to be worldwide. It says that no man might buy or sell, say that he had the charagma, which is that mark, or the name of the beast, right, this current beast system, which is ruled by man, or the number of his name. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, it says, here is wisdom, that him hath understanding. Count the number of the BEST, for it is a number of a man, and his number is SIX, 303 score and SIX. That's why we tell the Israelites, hey, do not take that mark of the beast. Hey, we don't want to take that as well, too. So we want to be partaker of the ways of the Heavenly Father, and we got Son Hamashiach Yahawashi. This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 8. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she had made all the nations drink the wine of fornication. Right, had made all the nations drink the wine of fornication still to this day. And this is the book of Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. But this is a modern day spiritual tower of Babel. This is a version out of Babylon. Because all the nations had drink the wine of fornication still to this day. So that lets you know there's no new thing under the sun. This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the charagma, his F-A-R-E-H-E-A-D on his hand. Revelation chapter 14, verse 10. It says, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of Yahawah, which is poured without mixture, in his cup of his indignation. And he should be torn with fire and brimstone, and the holy angels present, and the holy present Lamb, which is Yahawashi and the holy angels. So you're going to get hit with fire and brimstone in the presence of holy angel present Lamb if you had that mark of the beast. Hey, so we definitely don't want to take that mark of the beast. That's why we tell the Israelites, hey, do not take that mark of the beast. Hey, we want to trust in the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi. This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 11. It says, in the smoke of their atonement ascending up forever and ever, they have no rest in the day or night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the charagma in his name. Right, so whosoever receiveth the charagma in his name, they're not going to receive no rest in the day or night. And this is the book of Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the words of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, what should come upon all the world to try to that dwell upon the earth. Right, so this is going to try all that dwell upon the earth if they had that mark of beast. And so as long as we continue to keep the pace of the words of Yahawashi, Hamashiach, as Israelites, they out of Ratzah, that he'll keep us in that occupation. So this is a major prophecy coming to pass fulfilled, which is that mark of the beast. This is Matthew 24, verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, since the beginning of this world to the time should be. Right, so Yahawashi says, hey, it's going to be a great tribulation time, nor since the beginning of this time should be. So it's going to be a tribulation time like never before. It's like it was in ancient times, now it's going to be occurring in these times. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. It says, except those days should be shortened, that no flesh should be saved, but for the elect say those days should be shortened. Right, and that's why the Heavenly Father speeding the days up for the elect's sake. So we want to be part of that hopeful elect, be part of that remnant. So that's why Yahawashi speeding the days up for the elect's sake. Hey, while the wicked continue to bear rule right now, it's going to be no flesh to be saved, but those days are going to be shortened for the elect's sake. That's why the days are speeding up. So that's an indicator that we're living in the signs of times. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up the great prince, which is standing for the decision of people, like the hopeful elect, the remnant, the Israelites. It says, there shall be a time of trouble, says never was, since there was a nation, even to the same time that thy people should be delivered. Everyone should be found written in the book, right? So we want to be found written in the book. And then we want to be under protection of Yahawashi as the Heavenly Father, but the Spirit of Michael, archangel, stand up for the children of my people, the Israelites. This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 2. It says, and many of them that seek in the dust of earth shall wake to everlasting life. Son of shame, everlasting temple. And so we want to wake up to that everlasting life. This is the book of Daniel chapter 12, verse 3. It says, and they that be wise shall shine as a light to the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars of heaven. This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. It says, but thou, O Daniel, shall the words seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Right, so many going to run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Right, because knowledge is increasing. And why did God watch my shot? This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 7. Another prophecy coming past fulfilled another prophecy that's going to come past fulfilled the time of Jacob trouble. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, at last for that day is great, so none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, he should be saved out of it. Right, so the hopeful elect, the elders and apostles were Akim and like-minded brothers and sisters that trust in the ways of Yahawashi out of Ratzah that will be saved out of it. So it's going to be an unprecedented time like never before. And this is what we got to sound the alarm about. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 11, because it's going to be a famine of the word as well, too, because it's going to be a spiritual famine, and it's going to be a physical famine. It's going to be a famine in a land. It's going to be a famine of lack of bread for lack of water. But the hearing other words of Yahawashi, it's like that was taking place in ancient times, in the days of Joseph, during those ancient Egypt. Now we're in those times once again. Because America resembles modern day or spiritual Egypt, because there's no new thing under the sun, you know. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 11. It says, behold, the day is come, said Yahawashi, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, no thirst of water, but the hearing of the words of Yahawashi. Right, so, but the hearing of the words of Yahawashi. Because very soon the words of the Heavenly Father is not going to be available. It's going to be a famine of the word. That's another prophecy come to pass and fulfilled. Because the famine of the word is nigh at hand. Amos chapter 8 verse 12, it says, they shall run from sea to sea, from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro, try to seek the words of Yahweh shall not find it. Right, so when all these prophecies come into full effect, men are going to run to and fro, try to seek the words of Heavenly Father, Yahweh shall not find it. This is the book of Amos chapter 8 verse 13. It says, in that day shall a fair virgin young man fear for thirst. Right, so the prophet Amos mentioned, in that day is going to be a fair virgin young man fear for thirst, and the words of Yahweh shall not find it. This is going to be a famine word. So that's another prophecy coming to pass, be fulfilled. So I'm gonna get to that. Get back to the wars, the rumors of wars. Now, earlier today, you had because I think northern Israel was hit by heavy missiles earlier today by Hezbollah, and then the Israel Defense Force, they had responded back. They had used some airstrikes over there in Beirut, and then Iran, they had responded back. They used some airstrikes over there in Israel. And then you had Trump was speaking to Benjamin Netanyahu. He told him to call off the airstrikes because they was going to respond back. So that lets you know that you still got tension between Iran and Israel still heating up. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It reads, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, right, the armies of the other nations. It says, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right, so let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. That let you know they still gonna be gathered over there in the Middle East. This is Western Asia. This is Joel chapter 3 verse 10. Oh yeah, that's the spirit too, because I just thought about that. I think the Kurdistan armies, because they've been going against the Turkish armies ever since the 1980s. So ever since then, you've been having the Iranians. They've been going to war with the Kurdistan armies. Now they supposed to be it's supposed to be like some military camps over there in Syria or Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, because they had used a nuclear strike for them, the Kurdistan armies over there in Iraq. That's why you had an explosion earlier today over there in that area. Because the time zones are kind of different, so that's why the Iranians, they've been having escalation against the Kurdistan armies as well too. And they supposedly, like a couple months ago, I would say about a couple months ago, they were supposedly help the United States and the Senate and Syrian Defense Force, I believe. They were supposed to help the United States and the Syrian Defense Force going against the pro-Iranian groups, going against the proxy groups and stuff like that. So Iran, they had targeted them as well too. So that lets you know, despite the fact they trying to de-escalate the tensions, pushing forth more peace deals and stuff like that. That lets you know you're still gonna have tensions heating up over throughout that whole area, which we so used to hearing about it, throughout the years and generations all the way into now. So you're still gonna have heavy tensions are still gonna be heating up over there in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza Strip, West Bank, Palestinian territory, and you're still gonna have some heavy clashes against the Israel Defense Force armies and the Hezbollah armies. This is Joel chapter 3 verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares and your swords and the plenty hooks and the spears, and let the weak sound strong. Right, and let the weak sound strong. The dragons of Arabia, they're going to remember themselves. You're going to have these proxy groups, the pro-Iranian groups. They still going to be rising against the Israel Defense Force. You're still going to have that cross-border conflict still going to continue to be heating up, despite the fact they're trying to de-escalate tensions, but the tensions are still going to be there throughout that whole area, And this is the book of Luke. Yeah, this book of Luke 21 and verse 10. It says, it says things to come. Right, so more signs to come. Right, more things to come about the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is the gospel of Luke 21, verse 10. It says, then say he unto them. It says, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. This goes to the ethnos. So you're still going to have nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. That's going to continue to increase. And this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, verse 1. Yeah, this book of Isaiah chapter. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. It says prophecies about Damascus, right over there in Syria. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. It says the burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus take away from the city, and it shall be Israel and heap. Right, so Damascus and Syria is going to be taken away from the city, shall be Israel and heap. So despite the fact that they're trying to rebuild back over there in Syria, in that region, but tensions are still going to heat up down in that region. Isaiah chapter 17, verse 9. It says, in that day shall his strong cities be as forsaken and brought in the uttermost branch, which they left because of the children of Israel, and it shall be desolate. Right, so that land's going to be desolate, because you're still going to have cross-border conflicts still heating up over there in the area. The proxy groups and the pro-Iranian groups. Hey, you're still going to have the Kurdistan army groups going against the Iranians. So that no tensions are still going to heat up between these other nations. And this is the book of Luke 21, verse 10. Get to that once again. Yeah, it's the book of Luke 21, verse 10. It says, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. I think I seen that when I was doing the I think the prophecy updates or the wars and rumors of wars update I did like an hour ago. I did a lesson on that about like an hour ago before I came out here. Yeah, about an hour or two ago. You had tensions been heating up between down in the South China Sea. I think that the Disputed Territorial Islands, not too far from the South China Sea, because I think Taiwan, they had sent some vessel troops down there or something like that. And then you had the Philippines and China. They was having the Philippines and Japan, I believe, they had some type of talks or something like that. And then that kind of angered China, because China, they fully control the Disputed Territorial Islands, not too far from the South China Sea. And then for the past couple of years and recently, you've been having those different Southeast Asian countries trying to fully take over the Disputed Territorial Islands. So that lets you know escalations are heating up over there in that region as well too. And then you got over there in the Korean Peninsula, you got South Korea, Japan, United States heating up against North Korea. Because it was a news article earlier today. You had North Korea saying that they're not going to they automatically reject not turning away from their nuclear capability. They're going to continue to push forth their nuclear capability. The tensions that they have against South Korea and Japan, definitely Japan. So those tensions are only going to stir up. Because you had, I believe, Xi Jinping, the president of shout out to that brother Yahawah, the prophet on scenes, right? So you had, I think, Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, the president of China, and Kim Jong-un, they're supposed to be meeting with one another to building up their military alliance, economical alliance. So that lets you know you still got the alliance between China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, you know. Despite the fact they had recent talks with the Western countries, but you still gonna see that alliance between these nations, and that's what we're seeing. So I'm bring out that Revelations. Yeah, let's look at Revelations chapter 9, verse 12. It says, "The one will pass, and behold, there come two woes here thereafter." Right, so the one will pass, and there come two woes here thereafter. And this is the book of Revelations 11, verse 14. It says, "The second woe pass, behold, the third will come quickly." Right, so the second woe pass, behold, the third will come quickly. And I'm bring out Ezekiel, Ezekiel the 38th chapter, because I think you had a meeting today over there in London. You had Vladimir Zelensky and other European leaders. They met. They had some type of meeting over there in the UK. They was pushing forth to push more military, push forth some more nuclear capability for Ukraine. Because Russia, with their Orshin missiles, you know, that they use as of lately against Ukraine, you know, because the Russia-Ukraine situation is intensifying by the day. So they pushing forth to have Ukraine to have more nuclear capability. You know, Germany, places like countries like Germany, NATO, the European Union, they pushing forth more and more in support of Ukraine once again. Because I believe, what was that, like a couple of days ago, the United States, they had they approved a deal like $1 billion to military aid assistance to Ukraine, and then use more economic sanctions on Russia. So that's an indicator that the Russia-Ukraine situation is still intensifying. And then you've been having ongoing tensions on and on back and forth as of recently, NATO, the European Union versus Belarus and Russia as well too. This is the book of Ezekiel. Yeah, it's the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. It says, and the word of Yahawah came unto me saying, Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 2, it says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog and Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach Tubal, and prophesy against him." Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 3, and it reads, it says, "Thus saith Yahawah Shemai Shai, behold, I am against thee, O God, and the chief prince of Meshach Tubal," right to this day. Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 4, it says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth from all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed for all sorts of armor, even a great company of buckled shields, all of them having swords." Right, so that lets you know that the tension between Russia and Ukraine is going to intensify. So that lets you know Russia, they still in that warlike mindset. And this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 5. It says, "Persia, which is Elam, Ethiopia, the Cushites, and Libya are put with all of them with shield of him." This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 6. It says, "Gomer, this is modern day Turkey, and all his bands in the house of Togomor." I wouldn't be surprised Turkey and Israel had to heat back up once again. It says, "Gomer and all his bands in the house of Togomor of the north course." It says, "And all his bands, many people with him." This is Ezekiel chapter. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 7. It says, "Be thou prepared for thyself and all thy companies. There are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." Right, so Russia is going to be a guard to these nations: Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. They're going to be going against the Israeli defenders over there in Western Asia, and we're going to see that heat back up once again. So, as I mentioned once again, because you got Turkey. You know, you got Turkey, they got military bases over there in Iraq and Syria. Because during those times, you know, from the 1980s and all the way into now, you know, you've been having heavy tension between the Kurdistan armies. They're going against the Turkish armies over there in Iraq and Syria. So I won't be surprised those tensions might heat back up again between Turkey and the Kurdistan armies, and then Russia is going to team up with because Russia is going to be a guard unto them. So I won't be surprised the Kurdistan armies team up with the Syrian Defense Force armies and the United States armies and stuff like that. So that's going to stir up more tensions. That's going to lead back into the heavy tensions going to heat back up once again over there in the area, which we're so used to hearing about. That's why it says, what's that, Ecclesiasticus 1 verse 9, there's no new thing under the sun. So that's still going to lead up to the Third World War still, Hey, because the words of the Heavenly Father doesn't go on void, like it says in the book of Isaiah, the 55th chapter. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 7. It says, be thou prepare for thyself, and all thy companies are to them, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, so Russia, they're going to be a guard to these nations, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. And then now, what was that, like a couple of days ago, the United States had used economic sanctions on the president down there in Cuba. So that lets you know potentially, tensions might heat back up over there in Cuba as well too. It's kind of reminiscing a little bit what they what early in January what they did over there in Venezuela. It seemed like it's getting to that point, but I think because Nero 47, he always changed his mind. He was talking about he was talking about diplomacy rather than using military action against Cuba. And then, because you got the Castro's era, no era and stuff like that. So they've been, I guess they switched that strategy up. They using more economical sanctions on the president of Cuba down there. Because they already going through a blackout crisis or financial crisis, hunger crisis and stuff like that. And then I believe Russia, because the United States have blocked oil gas from coming in to being importing, exporting over there in Cuba. Because you still got North Korea, you got China, North Korea. They still allies with Cuba, especially Russia, because Russia is the heavy ally to Cuba. Because you've been having, what was that, a couple of years back? Because I remember that. I remember that as well too. You've been having Russia submarine ships not too far from Florida, off the coast of not too far, 90 miles off from Florida and heading towards Cuba. So just in case the United States might target Cuba, Russia is going to be there to help them out, and right along with China and all them, So that's still going to lead up to the Third World War, And this is Ezekiel chapter 39 verse 1. It says, therefore thou son of man, prophesy against God, say, thus saith Yahawashi, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach Tubal. Ezekiel chapter 39 verse 2. It says, and I will turn thee back and leave but the sixth part of thee, and I will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and bring thee upon the mount of Israel. Ezekiel chapter 39 verse 3, it says, and I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and I will cause thy arrows to fall at thy right hand. And this is in the book of Isaiah chapter 13 verse 17, and then I'm closing out. It says Isaiah chapter 13 verse 17. Matter of fact, two more scriptures, then I'm closed out. Yeah, it's the book of Isaiah chapter 13 verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which they shall not regard as silver, and as gold they shall not delight in. So you're going to have the tensions going to heat back up between Russia and the United States, because you already got Ukraine versus Russia that's heating up, because the United States is still part of NATO still, even though they've been having division between one another. That lets you know ever since February, I would say early February the 5th of this year, 4 months ago, that nuclear treaty deal, a nuclear treaty deal between Russia and the United States, it had expired. So ever since then, they had talks over there in Switzerland. They were supposed to have progress talks, probably like extending another year of the nuclear arms treaty between Russia and the United States. Ever since then, it had collapsed. So I won't be surprised nuclear escalations might heat back up once again between Russia and the United States. So that prophecy of Isaiah 13 verse 17 is going to show forth once again, So this is the book of Revelations 11 verse 14. Yeah, it's the book of Revelations 11 verse 14. It says, the second will pass, behold, the third will come quick. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quick. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. So back out again, once again, for the third time on the highways and hedges, the chief best concourse on this June the 7th, 2026, on this Sunday night. So hopefully this was edifying during the Street Minstry teachings of Yahawah Yahawashi on the highways and hedges of Chief Justice Concourse on this Sunday night, June the 7th, 2026. And so with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Bokar Kadash. And the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahawah, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahawashi. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the lost God's holy tongue. And I say Barakathum to the elders and the apostles who are Aki and Mahakwath. Until next time, I would say Kwam Yasharallah and Abal and Shalom.